You're watching Man Coverage with Nick Schmidt and James Bonneville on National Streaming Sports.
Good morning, everyone. It is Man Coverage. This is Knoxville Nate and James Bonneville. We are back. College football is here. It is August 10th, 2025. A little bit of a hiatus for us, but we did not go away. We are not gone. We are back, and we are here to talk a little college football because the season is about to begin. James, how the hell are you doing? How was your hiatus?
Hey, off-season workouts. I'm bigger, stronger, and faster than I was last year. Let's rock.
I kept to the plan. Of the off-season workout system that our strength coach provided here at Man Coverage 2075 on YouTube. Went after it. Got bigger. Got faster, leaner. Lost a little weight, in case anyone couldn't tell. And we're rocking the DeForest Buckner game-worn jersey from 2014. And we're here to rock and roll today. I appreciate everybody joining us. And Tyler, we already got the Buckeye fans showing up. Man, that makes me happy because we are going to talk a little Big Ten preview today. We have Shaun Schrock, the Schrock star from the Buckeye Lounge, coming to us about 11:30 today. Going to talk Big Ten, going to talk Buckeyes. We got a little bit of a quarterback battle going on over there. Not so much in my mind, but in some people's it is. But we're going to talk about that, and we are going to bring Shaun on to discuss, and we're going to get after it pretty hardcore. But first things first, we got to talk a little bit about the new folks in charge. We got to talk about the coaching moves that have occurred in college football. We've got several big-time moves that have happened. We've got several guys that have switched teams. We've got guys that have gone back to their old team. It's pretty crazy, but I want to start in North Carolina. Not really a football hotbed there in Chapel Hill, but we're going to talk about it anyway because they went out and spent some cash and brought in Bill Belichick. And, James, I guess what I want to ask you is, what's this going to look like, man? I have no idea. College football, Bill Belichick, not really things that have been synonymous over the last 25, 30 years as this guy's been winning Super Bowls. But him and his 24-year-old girlfriend are in Chapel Hill running the team. That is the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. Having this 24-year-old girl being copied on every email from the folks up top. But I guess we can talk about that, and then we can also talk about what do you think, his team is going to look like. Do you think North Carolina is going to make any noise in the ACC? What do you think about him as a coach there?
My biggest concern from the get-go is, one, he's a very rough and gruff guy, and he's not a great communicator. He's not going to be one of those guys that's going to show up in a parent's living room and do the whole rah-rah speech. He's going to do the Bill Belichick and, go about that. I think even a bigger concern is, this is a guy where everybody he's worked with in the past, this has been their job. He hasn't coached in college since, the 70s? I think it's the 70s when he was at Air Force. And now you're dealing with guys who have classes, who've got NIL, responsibilities, and he's not going to have the amount of time that he's had in the past. Is he going to have somebody that's dedicated as a Tom Brady to go into a film room and watch film? You're not going to see that. You're not going to see the type of commitment that he expects and wants. And I wonder how that's going to translate on the field. It's a very different coaching job, coaching from the pros, where it's a job, to college, which they're still students. And I don't know whether that's going to translate. I could be wrong, but right now, I'm thinking no.
Yeah, it's definitely a different game. But, the good thing he's got going for him is college football has become more like pro football than it's ever been in the last few years with the NIL, with the transfer portal. He can build his team through free agency. He can, if he's not the greatest recruiter, he can try and build his team that way, like Dion. But that's one thing he's got going for him. I just don't know, how it'll work, whether his system will fit, in college football. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens there and to follow along and see how this whole saga continues with him and his girlfriend running the show. Should be pretty freaking interesting.
Yeah.
But another guy that's going home, I guess we should say, is Mr. Rich Rod.
Yeah.
This is a weird one, man, because this guy, probably had West Virginia at its highest point since Major Harris. Most people that are watching probably don't know who that is, but Major Harris was a badass back in the early 90s, late 80s.
Heisman Trophy finalist.
Heisman Trophy finalist. I mean, they were badass, but, this guy brought in Steve Slayton, Pat, what's his name? Pat White.
Pat White.
Had some really good teams there. And then he went to Michigan. Things fell off, obviously. Wasn't there very long at all. And then he's kind of bounced around from spot to spot. What does it look like, James, with him going back to West Virginia? What do you think he's going to bring to the table? Do you think he can dig West Virginia out of the hole that they've been in football-wise?
Honestly, I look at this as being one of my two favorite hires this offseason. He understands the culture of West Virginia. I mean, hell, he played there. And I never understood why he left to begin with. I think when he went to Michigan, he was a hot name, but it was a bad culture fit. And it showed. I mean, they were just not a good team when he was coaching at Michigan. I mean, that radical switch from being a power I formation team to a spread option team, it just never completely translated. And it took him a while to come back until Harbaugh got in there, and a couple years even after that before Michigan got to a semblance of what it once was. I like the hire. I think the biggest problem he's going to have is the NIL game. West Virginia is not going to be nearly as strong as other teams, but the guy knows how to coach, and the guy knows how to get speed. I think it's a great hire, honestly. And I think West Virginia, I mean, are you expecting the early days of Rich Rod? I think that would be an overestimation. I would be happy with 8-4, 9-3.
Yeah, if he can take them back to relevancy, I think it's a successful move, because it's just been one coach after the other down there. It's just nothing consistent as far as success goes in West Virginia. So I think if he can bring that back, they'll be happy campers. Now, another guy who's going back home, so to speak, is Scott Frost. We all know what happened in Nebraska. And you know what? I've heard some weird crap about what went down with his tenure in Lincoln. I mean, it just not showing up to events, showing up drunk at practice, just weird rumors, I guess you could say, from people around the program. I don't know if they're just bitter because he didn't do the job that everybody wanted. I don't know if they just don't like him. I don't know. But here he is back at Central Florida. Can he replicate the success he had, James, or is he too far gone?
Honest to God, I think it's going to be more. Do I think he understands the game? Absolutely. I mean, this is a kid who his mom was his offensive coordinator in high school. His dad was his head coach. I mean, this is a guy who was taught to be a coach from a very early age. I think the biggest problem with him is going to be confidence, and he's not in the AAC anymore. He's in the Big 12. It's a completely different conference. So,
yeah.
I mean, if he can get back to what he did best when he was at Central Florida and really recruiting that I-5 corridor hard, he was getting kids beating out Power 5 programs, then there's a real possibility. But it starts first and foremost at the quarterback position, and he needs to have that quarterback that he had before. I mean, heck, Mackenzie Milton, and then before that, Dylan Gabriel. I mean, he needs to get back to that type of philosophy. And I mean, if you're not static at the quarterback position, you've got nothing.
Yeah, and that was kind of a problem for him in Nebraska. He never got a guy that really blossomed. Adrian Martinez, I guess, was probably the best thing he had going at quarterback. And if that's the best thing you got going, you're in deep shit trouble. So that's been the issue there. But, I'm interested to see what happens with Rich Rod and Scott Frost kind of going back to a school. That doesn't happen very often where a school brings back someone who they've, who's left them or they've fired or whatever. So that's pretty strange. Another guy who left the Gators in a mess is now heading out to UNLV, which has been a pretty actual good program in college football. The question for you, James, is can Dan Mullen keep it going? Can he build on UNLV's success? They were about a game away from playing in the college football playoff last year. What do you think about Dan Mullen getting back into coaching? What do you think about the move to go to UNLV?
Well, you know what's funny is I look back at the Florida example, and his biggest weakness as a whole has been his recruiting acumen. And at the very upper echelon level, which, let's be honest, Florida wants to be, they want to be in play for at least 20 of those top 100 kids. They want to have their name on the list and get a few of them too as well. They want to rank in the top 10 recruiting wise. Dan Mullen's not an aggressive recruiter, but the guy knows how to recruit that middle tier player and coach them up. Look at what he did at Mississippi State. Hell, prior to that, when he was OC at Florida, at Utah, at Bowling Green, the guy knows how to coach. And I look at UNLV, this is a perfect situation for him. And I love his recruiting strategy now is he lost a lot of kids to the transfer portal, but UNLV's NIL game is pretty decent for a mid-major. And he's going after kids who were 4 and 5 stars at other programs, and things just didn't work out. Heck, it could have been culture, it could have been coaching, whatever it could be. But these guys had talent coming out of high school, and he got a ridiculous number of them. Heck, if some of them pan out, they could really go after Boise and make a shot at that big at the playoff.
Yeah, no, I think this guy's a good coach, man. I mean, Florida hasn't been the same really since he left. I mean, when he took them to the SEC championship game with Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts, that team was rocking and rolling, man. And they haven't been back there since he left. And I understand things got weird at the end. I understand, I guess he just shut down going out and recruiting or whatever happened. But this guy is not an idiot. And he certainly did some good things while he was the head coach at Florida. Not to mention he balled out at Mississippi State, with the Dak Prescott team and some of the other squads that he brought around. So I expect him to win out there. And I really do think he's a good coach for UNLV. The spotlight's not on him as much. It's not as crazy as an environment in SEC country. This might be a good spot for him. Couple others that I'm going to yell out to you, and you just tell me which one you want to talk about or which one kind of sticks out to you, because we got to move on. But I do want to talk about Bronco Mendenhall still coaching. He's going to Utah State. We got the other one is Frank Reich taking over as the full-time guy in Stanford. I know he was the interim coach last year. And then Eddie George going to Bowling Green. Jimmy Rogers taking over at Washington State after winning the title at SDSU. Any of these guys, Matt Entz taking over at Fresno after Jeff Tedford was forced to resign due to health issues. Any of those stick out to you, James, or any of those guys you think are a really good fit there?
Honestly, when I put my top 2 together of the best hires, Rich Rod was 1, and 1A was Bronco Mendenhall. I am a huge Bronco Mendenhall fan. The culture he brings into a team, no matter if it was at BYU, Virginia, New Mexico. I mean, have you noticed I haven't named a power program in there? No. And all of them had the same type of fuck you mentality. I mean, they're a bar fight type of team, and I'm really liking what Bronco Mendenhall can bring to the Utah State program. I mean, Utah State has been more of a throwing program, and now I think you're going to see a completely different vision and thought process. And I think very quickly, I think they're going to do some damage in the Mountain West. I mean, that Mountain West future Big 12 or Pac-12 is going to be very interesting because you bring in some really good coaches in with a different culture shift.
Yeah, this guy knows Utah, man. I mean, he was the coach at BYU, had a lot of success there. He knows how to recruit kids from that area. I think that was a strong hire as well. But we gotta move on here because we're running out of time. And I want to talk a little bit about the preseason All-American team that came out. I want to talk about the sporting news first and foremost because that kind of hit me a little bit. Arch Manning getting the nod at quarterback for them. What has Arch Manning done, James? And do you think it's a good move to put him as your first team All-American at quarterback? I mean, I don't know if I've seen enough to go that way.
If his name was Arch Smith, we'd be having the same conversation?
No.
I mean, I feel bad for the kid because, quite frankly, because of his grandpa, because of his uncles, he is being propelled up, and we haven't seen that big of a sample size. I mean, what we have seen, I mean, he was brought in running situations, but if he's, in some cases, viewed as a Heisman frontrunner, don't you think he would have beat out the 7th-round draft pick of the Miami Dolphins last year?
That was my whole point. Last year when everybody was talking about Arch, I was like, if he's so good, how the heck can he, how the heck could he not beat out Quinn Ewers? I mean, Quinn Ewers was hurt. He took the job, and for whatever reason, they didn't let him keep it. And then, my whole thing is, if he was so amazing, why would he not start? I mean, there's no way that their coaching staff didn't want to win, more than anyone. And so if he was better than Ewers, he would have played. I mean, there was no political thing going on. They weren't just screwing Arch Manning. Obviously, they wanted him to stay there. If he was better, I think they would have played him. And obviously, Quinn Ewers is what he was. He was a 7th-round draft pick for the Dolphins, and I've got to see more before I'm ready to make him the preseason #1 All-American quarterback. Cade Klubnik at Clemson has definitely done more as far as taking his team to the college football playoff.
Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah, and Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. I mean, he hasn't had the same type of success as Klubnik. But if you look at Klubnik at the end of the year, I mean, especially the last few games, that game against SMU in the championship, I mean, he was taking that offense down for scores left and right. And I just think he's coming around. And if you wanted to give it to him, I'd be okay with that. But I'm not sure about, Arch Manning there taking over him. As far as some of these other guys on this list here, talk about the skill players. They got Jeremiah Love on here from Notre Dame. I've actually seen him on a couple of the lists, which I like Jeremiah Love. I don't know if he's the best running back in the country.
But who would you put ahead of him, though? That's the thing.
I don't know.
I mean, I could make an argument for Desmond Reed and Nick Singleton. But, I'm not sure if I would completely buy into the argument.
Well, I like both of the running backs. I mean, I think that's the problem with the Penn State running backs. I think both of them are probably better than him, but they're on the same team.
Yeah, they're going to split carries.
They're splitting carries. They're also eating up each other's votes. That to me could be a problem. They've also got Isaac Brown from Louisville on here. I mean, he averaged over 123 yards the last 3 games. That's pretty damn good. They beat Pitt, Kentucky, and Washington in those 3 games. So I guess this guy does have some stuff. But once again, I like the Penn State running backs over him. I don't know about you.
I do too. I mean, honestly, I'm a bigger fan of Ayton than I am of Singleton. I think Ayton is a very downhill, kind of a JV version of Scadabout and how hard he runs.
Yeah, Scadabout's a badass.
Yeah.
And I wish he was still there. The wide receivers I cannot argue with. Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams. Those 2 guys are the best wide receivers in the country.
Tyson from Arizona State, too.
And
after that,
Tyson.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy list, for a first team. I think it gets harder. You go down second and third team, but yeah, no, I think they really separate themselves up pretty easily.
Yeah, and Tyson, that Arizona State team was very hampered when he went down with injury. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't think they would even have a chance against Texas with him not playing. The fact that they gave them a really good game tells you what those other guys were all about and what their coaching staff is down there, because Jordan Tyson was a man. 75 catches, over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and he missed several games with the collarbone. So definitely like that. As far as defense goes, some of these guys stick out to me. I like TJ Parker and Peter Woods and Clemson. I think both those guys are badasses. And the other guy is Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas, the linebacker, 6'3", 235. This guy was a 5-star in high school. He's also a badass in college. 5 forced fumbles last year, 17 tackles for loss. I think they hit the nail on the head with this dude. The one question I had here, obviously Caleb Downs at safety, is Jermod McCoy, the kid out of Tennessee. This guy definitely came in and played well last year, but he tore his knee in January. I'm not sure of his status, and that's going to be a difficult one. What do you think about the defense? Anybody stick out to you that you want to talk about?
What's funny is I look at the safety play. I think this is the deepest safety play we have seen in some time. I mean, obviously you're going to have to put Caleb Downs as in there because I think he's the best defensive player out there today. The Tafey kid out of Texas, Coy Parrish out of Minnesota, Dylan Thiemann out of Oregon, formerly out of Purdue, KJ Bolden out of Georgia. I mean, this is a really strong safety class, especially when you look to the next level where the safeties aren't nearly as strong as a position group as it once was. And I think you're going to see these guys elevate when they take that next step to the next level. How
did I know you were going to mention Parrish from Minnesota? I knew that was coming.
He's good. He's good. I mean, plays offense, defense, special teams. He's the water boy. I think he's got a freaking paper route too as well. I mean, the boy from Esco, Minnesota can play.
No, he's legitimate, man. I'm excited to see him on October 4th in Columbus. See if he can handle that wide receiver core. But I do like him. I think he's solid. And Buckeyes lost 14 guys to the draft. They lost 2 more that were signed. So they lost 16 players off last year's team, and they still have the best 2 players in all of the country in Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs. So they're doing okay talent-wise. Let's talk top 25 real quick because we got to get into our Big Ten preview and talk about a little bit of the Big Ten to start us off. But I do want to talk about this is the coaches poll. And I'm just going to rattle off the top 5. You tell me if you like it or if you think some of these teams should move up, down, whatever. We got Texas 1, Ohio State 2, Penn State 3, Georgia 4, and Notre Dame 5. What do you think about the top 5, and are those the teams that you would have chosen?
Honestly, the only team in here that maybe 2 teams that I think I'd move down would be Georgia and Notre Dame. I mean, Georgia lost a lot on that defense. I mean, Mikael Williams and what's his name? I can't think.
Jalen?
Yes. I mean, that is a huge loss to that team. Sure, they still get KJ Bolden, who's a phenomenal safety, but the strength of that defense has always been that front 7. Are they going to be nearly as fast? Notre Dame, I mean, Riley Leonard really, say what you will, he had his negatives, but that kid during his college career was a freaking leader. Can the next guy step up and be that guy? Honestly, I would look at a Clemson and Oregon and move them up higher than a Georgia or Notre Dame, personally.
Yeah, Georgia is the one to me that has me a little bit nervous just because of losing both those pass rushers. Jalen Walker, I think was the name we were looking for there. And then the other guy you mentioned were both, game wreckers.
Oh,
and
completely.
I don't know who that next guy is. And then, their quarterback, I don't know, man. I'm not 100% sold on him just yet either. He did some good things. He played better than I expected in the game that he had to go in there at the end when Carson Beck had to get hurt, got hurt. I was impressed by what Gunnar Stockton did. Do I think he's a guy that can win a national championship? I'm not sure about that. That to me, it makes me nervous.
I would feel more confident about Gunnar Stockton if you had a better running back core, but losing ETN, I don't feel strong with their running back core. And quite frankly, who's their best receiver going to be? Oscar Delp at tight end? I mean, Gunnar Stockton doesn't make mistakes. The problem is who's he going to throw to? At the end of the day, he can't throw to himself.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the most talented Georgia team that we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years. Rolling out the top 10, because that's really what I want to focus on, is Clemson 6, Oregon 7, Bama 8, LSU 9, and Miami 10. Miami, to me, is the one that seems a little high. What do you think about the Canes, and what do you think about them being ranked that high at number 10? I mean, I don't see it, buddy. What do you think?
Honest to God, I am so sick and tired of the year after year of trying to bring back the 80s and 90s of when's Miami going to come back. And I mean, the 1 year Mark Richt did really well. They had a really bad schedule. When they played with anybody with a pulse, they got their crap kicked in. I mean, until Miami can show it, I don't buy it. So why do we keep doing this over and over again? I mean, it's like we're talking about Nebraska. I mean, I'm sorry, Tom Osborne hasn't coached in more than 25 years. And Miami is the exact same way. We got to stop playing these freaking games. I mean, if we're going to put a team up there, why not an Arizona State? Why not an Illinois? Why not a South Carolina?
Yeah, no, I think all of those teams have done more than the Canes have. And I've got to be honest, with the money being doled out down there in Coral Gables, I can't think of another team that has done less with more. As far as talent, as far as cash, money, guys that they brought in through the portal. I mean, who's done maybe Texas A&M?
Well, first of all, I'd like to wish everybody a happy belated Texas A&M Day, going 8-4. Mark it down; they're going 8-4 again. But I mean, seriously, the amount of money Texas A&M throws around, and they do more or less with more. I mean, they'd be a better job of burning the cash than actually giving it to some of these prospects, because it's just they are the weirdest freaking organization in the world. They fired Jimbo Fisher at 8-4, and what's Mike Elko get? Nail it.
8-4.
8-4.
You spent $77 million to send Jimbo away. You then spend $20 million to bring in Mike Elko and pay out his Duke buyout, and you're spending $100 million and you get the same record. I don't get it. It makes no sense. But we're going to talk a little Big Ten preview when we come back.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
Shop live events with confidence. Go to SeatGeek.com. Use promo code NSS. Get your money off. Got to give props to our boys at National Streaming Sports, paving the way for us. And wanted to give a shout out to our boy, Mac McGrath. Mac passed away this summer, and had a battle with a couple of things, going through last year, and it came through it strong and was looking good. And then tragically passed away over the summer. So I just want to give a shout out to Linda, his wife, and hope she's watching. I want her to know that we love her and we care about her and have been thinking about her, and we're missing Mac big time. I was watching the interview he did with me in March, and was thinking, man, I can't believe that he's gone. So I want to give a shout out to Mac. Want him to know that he's definitely gone, but he's not forgotten, and that we love him, and that we'll continue to think about him. And we just want to thank him for everything he's done for our show and man coverage. So sorry to bring the mood down there, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I've been thinking about it a lot And Mac did a lot for our show and did a lot for the National Streaming Sports Network. And we appreciate him bringing us on and getting us our sponsors and everything like that. The folks at SeatGeek have been good to us. And definitely, if you need tickets, go to SeatGeek. Jump on their website, find your seats that you want, and use our promo code NSS to save you a little bit of cash. Okay, here we go. Now it's time to get into it. We've got to start off by talking a little bit about the Big Ten preview here. We got to talk about, the best conference in all of college football as it sits right now. And to discuss that with us, we're going to bring in our boy Shaun Schrock, the Schrock Star, going to help us out a little bit.
Yo, guys.
Shaun, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Hey, I want to give you guys props, man. It's been probably close to 30 years since I heard the name Major Harris, and people forget how big of a badass he really was, man. That dude was awesome.
Hey, man, we know about the folks from the old days. We are pretty old over here, and we know about the guys that came before us. And Major Harris was a badass. We had one of my favorite players, Darian Hagan, come on the show, and that was the era of the option quarterback. Darian Hagan, Major Harris, Tony Rice. Those guys were my idols and my heroes when I was a little kid. I was always running the option in the backyard, trying to do it like they did. But, Shaun, we appreciate you coming on with us. We are going to talk a little Big Ten football today and get into what's been going on. So, we're going to get right into it. I want to talk about, first off, the guys to look at that have come in, through the portal. Obviously, everybody's using the portal these days. Some people are building their team with the portal. Some of these guys are supplementing their team. We saw what the Buckeyes did last year, adding Judkins, adding McLaughlin, adding Caleb Downs, really helped, build that championship team. And I want to ask both of you guys, Shaun, I guess I'll ask you first. We'll stay right there with the Buckeyes. Who do you think is the best player, the guy that's going to help out the most, I guess, that they brought in through the portal this year?
I'm going to say it's either going to be Bo Atkinson, which they nicknamed Thor because he's been tearing it up in practice on the defensive line. Or, of course, you got the Mackey watch list candidate, Mr. Max Clare, who's probably the best tight end in college football. And one more guy to throw in there who looked really, really good and actually surprised me was C.J. Donaldson. Because they said he was more of a bruising back, but since he's come to Ohio State, he dropped 20 pounds, and he looked really explosive in that scrimmage. The spring game and the scrimmages that they've had, and he's got great hands. So I think those three guys are the guys to watch.
I like all three of those. I think Claire is one of the best tight ends in all of the country. I think he's really going to open up that seam. I think they needed to add depth at the edge with losing Sawyer and Talamulo. And so I love the addition of him. And I think both of those guys are going to help out tremendously, moving forward. And I think Donaldson is a guy to watch too. No one talking about him, but that guy had 14 touchdowns last year. Okay, that's no small potatoes for a dude that was playing in the backfield with other guys. James, who do you got from the rest of the Big Ten that's transferred in that's really catching your eye?
Well, everybody's going to talk about Nico. And I mean, let's be honest, the talent's real, but he's not going to have near the offensive line or the receiving core that he dealt with in the SEC. But the guys I really am a big fan of, I'm going to go with Fernando Mendoza at Indiana. I mean, he was really, really good last year. And now you team him with Mike Shanahan in Indiana. I mean, that's going to be really interesting, especially look what they did last year and how they really rebuilt that team in offense. And then the Thieneman kid, the safety at Oregon that came from Purdue. I mean, the kid's is an All-American. It's just the rich keep getting richer at Oregon. They do really well in the transfer portal, and both those guys really impressed the crap out of me. I mean, there's a lot of guys we can go down the list, like the Turner kid at running back, to tag team with Taylor at Minnesota. I think is going to be devastating. You could go on and on. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I like Mendoza, man. I was kind of skeptical of bringing him in, and I just didn't know a ton about him because nobody, to be honest, watches Cal football. But I went back and hit the tape, and I've got to be honest, this dude has it, whatever it is. He's got it. He's got a good arm. He's able to find guys that are open. He can run the offense. I like this dude, and I think he might be a little bit better than the guy they had last year in Rourke. I could see him potentially, making Indiana relevant again. Shaun, talk to me about Indiana last year. This team kind of came out of nowhere. People are talking about their schedule being soft, whatever. They won the games that they had on the schedule. They beat Nebraska's ass 56-7, and now they've got this kid coming in. Do you think Indiana, can build off what they did last year, or get, have a record anywhere close to what they did last season?
I think that's the $1 million question everybody's watching. Can Kirk Cignetti build off of this? I mean, was that you caught lightning in a bottle and that was like a 1-year wonder thing? I mean, I think he's a great coach, and they gave Ohio State all they could handle. Let's face it. I mean, when they played Ohio State, they played them tough. And, I mean, those guys, they did a heck of a job. But like you said, they had a soft schedule. I mean, they caught people by surprise because this year they're not going to catch anybody by surprise. No. So that's the thing to see if Kirk can build off of this, and that's the interesting part. I mean, I think they're probably the fourth or fifth best team in the Big Ten this year, but I'm interested to see what he does with the kid.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they got the quarterback, okay? That's the first piece that you have to have in, especially with what he wants to do offensively. And I think they found their guy, Mendoza. I mean, this guy really only had one scholarship offer coming out and was going to go to Yale and play football. And then all of a sudden, Cal came a-calling. He went out there, got in after, didn't start the season, but came in and played really, really good football, towards the end of the season and was the ACC's third leading passer, even though he only started the final 8 games. He threw for 3,000 yards, 70% completion, 18 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, and he was sacked 41 times. So that to me shows that this guy is for real. But I want to go back to UCLA. Obviously we talked extensively about the Nico crap. I don't even want to get into it anymore because we've talked about it too much. But James, I do want to know, what do they have around him? Anybody? I mean, can he? I know this guy's not as bad as the Tennessee fans are making him out to be right now. Can he survive out there and win any games with what he's got?
I mean, you look at their team, they bring back, besides him, 2 other guys with starting offense experience. I mean, UCLA, honestly, I look at them as when they joined the Big Ten, they're going to be Maryland. I mean, their offensive line is really been suspect in the past. I mean, thank God they got – if they didn't have Nico, we would be talking in Purdue territory on where I think they would be in the Big Ten right now. At least with that, I mean, their defense last year, they had a couple guys really stand up. That linebacker, I can't remember his name, that got drafted. Man, he was tough. Like, he was undersized, but he came in. He reminded me a lot of Zach Thomas when he was at Texas Tech. Just like to lay one on you, like a bar fight guy that everybody likes to have on their team. But you look at this team, I'm like, the only name of note is Jalen Berger, who's been at, let's see here, Wisconsin, Michigan State, now UCLA. And he really hasn't been good at all 3. And he's their running back. Before that, they had, the Steele kid, who's now at Kansas City. I mean, they actually had a decent running game. Now, I mean, he's going to have to, carry the team and not have great protection but he's going to have lesser protection than he had at Tennessee. He could have a better year with worse stats, potentially.
Yeah, I think he probably will get some pretty decent stats just because they're going to be throwing the ball a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Sean Foster has to. I mean,
they're going to have to throw the football and build around this guy because he's got experience now. He played for a year in the SEC and obviously sat behind Joe Milton the year before and got a little bit of action. So I feel like he's going to be ready to go once we get out there. Moving on to the other newcomers in the Big Ten, I want to talk a little bit about the freshmen. I want to hear what you guys think are going to be the biggest freshmen to look at. And Shaun, I want to start with you. Obviously, pretty good recruiting class by Ryan Day once again in 2025. Some of the guys got there early, have been there. I love the 2 running backs. To me, are probably going to get to play quite a bit. But I want to get your opinion on which freshmen in Columbus are going to probably, have the biggest impact.
I say Devin Sanchez. They're already comparing him as the J.J. Smith at the defensive side of the ball. I mean, the kid is a freak. I mean, he's smart and he works hard. He puts in the time, and we've heard. I mean, all the news coming out of campus, he's been tearing it up. So he might even. It wouldn't surprise me if he even knocked one of those guys out and started. Honestly, halfway through the season, because he's that good. I do like Bo Jackson. Another guy that might get some reps is Turbo Rogers. He's more of the shiftier guy, but they're talking about him returning kicks, and maybe he's going to be the kickoff returner and maybe get some action, throwing some screens to him, and he's going to be kind of a change of pace guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if like a guy like Ziggy Grady got some looks on the defensive end.
No, I agree. I think Grady's going to get out there, maybe not at the beginning of the season, but certainly the middle part and the end, especially if there's any injuries. They're going to have to probably count on him. So I'm hoping Larry Johnson can get him going and getting him going early. James, I want to talk about one guy that I think is probably going to start right away and has stood out to me when I've gone and looked at freshman kids' tape, and that is DeCorian Moore. The wide receiver out of Oregon. This guy had a higher grade coming out of high school than Jeremiah Smith did. Okay. That's all you got to know right there. I mean, he had over 4,000 yards at Duncanville High School in Texas. He's already torn up the Oregon secondary nonstop. James, what do you think about this kid? And is he the guy that can maybe get them over the hump out there in Eugene?
That kid's special. I mean, honest to God. I mean, Grant, he played at Duncanville last year. I mean, that Duncanville team was insane. I mean, you go down, you watch some film of that, and it was just incredible watching how good that Duncanville team was. Them and DeSoto, Texas. I mean, some of those guys, they look like freaking mid-major college teams. They were so good. But yeah, Moore is exactly what Dante Moore needs in Oregon. I think this is going to be real interesting what's going to happen in Eugene, and especially with that up-tempo offense they like to run. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. Obviously everybody's going to talk about Bryce Underwood, so why even bring him up? But another guy I want to talk about is another family name. Iosi Epineza from Iowa. His older brother, AJ, is with the Bills, who was a wrecking crew. I mean, heck, all he did was come in and passing situations and would just be in the backfield. Like he had a mortgage back there. He was out there so much. His dad played there. And I fully expect Epineza is going to be in that same line of Iowa devastating defensive lineman that it's going to come in. It's going to be interesting to watch, just his ferocity coming up here in the future.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got the pedigree. There's no doubt there.
Oh, yeah.
And I do want to talk about the guy you didn't want to talk about for a minute, just because I think we have to. $12 million, going to be the instant starter. Obviously, Bryce Underwood was originally committed to LSU. Everybody thought he was going there. And then, the Brinks truck came to his house and dropped off $12 million. I am not in the mindset of paying high school kids money before they've done shit. I just don't believe in that. We saw how that worked out in Tennessee. The guy took the money and ran. I just don't know if mercenary is the way to go. But I do, Shaun. Yeah. I do want to get your input on, what can this guy – obviously last year they had no quarterback, okay? Oh, yeah. That was their problem. I mean, they had a really good defensive line. The O-line was okay, but they had no quarterback, and it was a joke. This guy has a tremendous amount of pressure on him, but he does have some talent coming with him. What do you think about this kid, and what do you think he could possibly do with the Michigan offense?
I think anybody with a pulse and a heartbeat and a pulse is going to be better than what they had last year. I mean, honestly, it was lucky they won what they won last year. The kid's going to have he's going to have the freshman growing pains. I mean, we saw it with Braxton Miller when we had Braxton Miller, and he started as a freshman. He's going to show the flashes that wow everybody, and you're like, yeah, there's that, there's that 5-star we brought in, but he's also going to be tricked by the coverages that he's never seen before. He didn't play in that great of competition up in Michigan. Michigan high school football, let's face it, isn't the greatest competition. So I think he'll show his flashes. He's got a great running game. I mean, 2 running backs behind him with Jordan Marshall and Justice Haynes, but the receivers aren't that great. The offensive line's kind of suspect. So, plus we don't know what kind of offense they're actually going to run behind them, because it's not going to be the same Michigan offense they've had for the last couple of years. So
yeah,
it'd be interesting to tell.
Yeah, James, you wanted to say something there. Go ahead.
He can't throw to himself. I mean, end of the day, I mean, after Rowan Wilson left and now Loveland's gone, who the hell is he going to throw to? I mean, Justice Haynes, yeah, he got some yards at Alabama, but he wasn't devastating. Jordan Marshall did well when he had to, but they had a better offensive line. And more importantly, they lost 3 devastating guys on that defense. And people act like, oh, it's just plug and play. You're going to plug and play after losing Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Will Johnson? Yeah. I'm sorry. That is, when you lose 3 guys in the first round and you can't tell me who's going to back them up, that's a problem.
Yeah. No, those guys were definitely, the heart of that team over the past couple of seasons. And, I think all 3 are going to be tough to replace. That's for damn sure. And it's a lot to put on a freshman kid, man, to throw him out there. But we'll see how that goes. And I do want to talk a little bit about, obviously, the other quarterback situation that we've got in the Big Ten that's probably catching the most eyeballs, and that's obviously in Columbus. We've got Lincoln Kleinhold still going on. We've got Julian Sayin. We have Tavian St. Clair, the freshman. To me, this race is pretty much already over, in my opinion. I think Julian Sayin is the best player. I think he is the guy that has got it. When I watch the tape of practice, when I watch the spring game, he's the one that looks like he can run this offense. Shaun, I want to ask you first, do you agree with me? And what do you think about this competition? I think, in my opinion, it's time to pull the plug on it. I think you got to get as many reps as you possibly can. And I think it'd behoove Ryan Day and the team to go ahead and name him the starter and get him all the reps with the ones. What do you think about this QB competition in Columbus?
I agree with you. I think it's Sain's job. And Eric and Chris, who are part of the Ohio podcast team, they actually went to practice, and they actually said Sain looked kind of rough that day, and Tavian St. Clair looked the best out of all 3 of them. But, I mean, they're not going to start the true freshman, but he's got a bright future ahead of him. But I think Sain is definitely the starter. It's kind of like when they had Chugginoff and Justin Fields. We all knew Justin Fields was going to be the starter. Ryan Day just didn't want to hand him the job. So I think that's what he's doing right now with Sain, because he did say Sain's the smartest player he's ever coached. He picked up the offense faster than anybody has. So I think he's the starter come day one.
Yeah, he was the number 1 overall composite quarterback in 2024. He went, Nick Saban signed him to Alabama for a reason. James, What do you think about this kid? And do you think he's going to win the job? And do you think he's got the ability, to continue the success in Columbus?
It's the safest pick, honestly. Do you really want to put a true freshman under center with really a Maserati receiving core? I mean, I honestly, Sain's the smartest pick. And I mean, in all honesty, I'm shocked Lincoln Kleinholz is still there, because I never gave him a chance in hell to start here. I think a lot of the reason why they're sitting on it is to make it look open so he stays in, so they have some depth during the season. But I would fully expect he's going to be in the transfer portal come after the playoff and be lining up somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of harsh, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but if I was running the show, I would go ahead and make him the 3, and give Tavian more work, because if something happens to Julian Sain and he gets hurt, I would rather have Tavian out there, learning how to play, because I just don't see. I mean, nothing against this kid. I've got no problem with him personally, but just watching him when he got in the games before. I understand that was a tough situation against Missouri. That was not his fault. But I didn't see anything that led me to believe that he could be the quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, am I crazy, Shaun?
No, I agree. I think he's more of a MAC quarterback, or not to sound mean. I mean, the kid can play. I mean, he's got skill and he can play D1 football, but there's a difference between playing D1 football and playing at Ohio State, guys.
Yeah,
I agree.
Seriously, I mean, he could go to a Bowling Green, he could go to Toledo and have a really good career and put up some great stats. And I mean, he's got some athletic ability, but he's not going to lead Ohio State to the promised land, guys. I'm sorry.
I don't understand the fascination that some people have. Like, he's one step away from greatness because he has shown nothing. And quite frankly, it's got to be banging in his head too, as well, is when he has gotten in, he's gotten lit up like a Christmas tree. I mean, the ability may be there. It's the confidence. And I think going to a different place may help him out to be a better quarterback. A new environment can change a lot of things with a player. So
I agree. I think he's better off getting out of there. Let's talk next about, we've trimmed up the tree here, but now it's time to put the star on top. Who's winning this conference, fellas? Most people have got the Nittany Lions taking it. To be honest with you, I think as of right now, until I see what I need to see, I guess I'd have to kind of lean their way as well. But mainly just because I don't know all the finished product's going to look like in Columbus. And also those running backs at Penn State, I think are legit. Plus the defense should be good. They don't have that guy they had last year, like the pass rusher that can wreck the game. They don't have him anymore. But I do think they're the best all-around team. What do you guys think? I guess, Shaun, I'll go to you first. What do you think about Penn State coming into this season? And do you think that they are ahead of the Buckeyes at this point?
Call me a homer, but I'm going with Ohio State because there's a couple of things. Until James Franklin can prove that he can beat Ohio State. I know he beat them once, but that was kind of a blocked field goal, and they ran it back. Second point is when Jim Knowles goes somewhere, it usually takes him 3 years to get his defense in. I mean, we saw it with Ohio State that it took him 3 years before the guys got a grasp on that defense, and they gave up a lot of big plays that first year he was there as a defensive coordinator. And they just didn't recruit the people that he usually plays in his defense. So I'm interested to see if he's going to try to, pound a square peg into a round hole out there. The offense, I agree. They got almost everybody coming back except for they're missing the tight end Warren. But, I mean, I think they're 1-2 between Ohio State and Notre Dame. I mean, between Ohio State and Penn State. But until James Franklin can show he's not going to James Franklin things, I'm going to go with the Buckeyes.
Hey, I got no problem with that. I'm trying to say Penn State so that subliminally the Buckeyes win and make me look wrong. I want to be wrong. But I'm just saying that now. So that I can, subconsciously push my Buckeyes ahead. But, James, I guess I want to tell you, say everybody but Tyler Warren. Well, Tyler Warren was damn good, bro. I saw him playing a couple days ago for the Colts, and he was the best player on the Colts that I saw. And he may have been the best tight end in all of college football. In fact, I would say he definitely was. James, we know the two running backs are good. We know that the offensive line is solid. We don't know what these wide receivers are going to look like because they're all three. I know you like the one guy, but they're all three transfers basically that are going to start. And then, James, talk to me about their quarterback. What do you think about this kid overall? And, does he have enough to lead them to the promised land?
I mean, remember, I was high in this kid coming out of high school, and I thought he had a chance of taking Sean Clifford out when Sean Clifford was starting. Boy, was I wrong. And, there is no more excuses for Juilliard. You've got the best offensive line in the Big Ten. You got the best running game in the Big Ten. I mean, heck, they probably have the best water boys in the Big Ten. But you know something? I don't believe in Drew Lar. I really, really don't. And quite frankly, James Franklin's got the Mark Richt curse. I mean, it's going to be, let's just say it now. Let's proclaim that October 2nd is going to be Penn State Day because they're going to play home against Oregon, at Ohio State, which when's the last time that they beat Ohio State in Ohio State? Maybe Jesus Christ was speaking in Omaha. And then they got to go to Iowa, which, let's be honest, Iowa's not an easy place to play at. No matter what, Special Olympian they have at quarterback, they find a way to freaking win. I mean, I want to say Penn State. Like, on paper, it makes sense. But then reality slaps me up beside the face saying James Franklin's going to find a way to shit the bed like the Notre Dame game, and he's going to lose it. I mean, honestly, if you want to, between the three teams, the team I think that could take Ohio State the most, give the Ohio State the most problems, Oregon.
Yeah.
I think Oregon is, Dante Moore is no schlub. I mean, I don't think people just realize how good he is because he's been sitting waiting for so long. He should have been starting if he just stayed home.
Yeah, no, I've seen promise out of him. I haven't seen him, take the reins. The team that really, worries me because the Buckeyes do have to play them, and also they won 10 games last year is the Illinois Fighting Illini. This is a team that is coached by Brett Bielema, who
Jabba the Hutt.
He's gotten bigger. There's no doubt. But he's starting to look. Have you noticed he's starting to look more and more like Barry Alvarez? He should have just stayed at Wisconsin. He could have just borrowed. He could have borrowed Barry's clothes. He looks like the Great Pumpkin. Let's be honest. When he has the orange on, it looks like a freaking tent you buy at Dick's Sporting Goods that you could have out there. I mean, the big and tall looks at him and they get scared. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's just he's so big. He's a big dude, but I like him as a football coach.
Yeah.
I like what he's got. I like what he's got coming back here with this team. I mean, Luke Altmaier came in and played better than I thought he would. And this is a guy who's played now 3 years in college football and, looks pretty good last year and was able to win. They were able to win some close games, I guess, is what really impressed me. And then they've got a big portion of their team coming back. I like Colin Dixon. I like Malik Elzy. The running back situation is always usually pretty good because Brett Bielema likes to run the football with Aiden Lafferty and Caden Fegan. I guess, Shaun, what do you think about the Illinois squad, and do they worry you at all when we're looking at this list?
That's the one game that I'm worried about, to be honest with, because they never, no matter how good Ohio State is, they never play good there.
Yeah.
They've had to have Eddie George have like the greatest day an Ohio State running back ever had to win a game there. I mean, there's been many a times that they've gone there and crapped the bed, not as much as, going to Michigan, but still, I think Illinois is the toughest game that they got besides the Texas and the Penn State game. That's the one that worries me.
You look at Bielema's teams. I mean, honest to God, the only thing that went bad at Arkansas was he coached at the wrong freaking time. I mean, the players were there. I mean, offensive line, defensive line has always been the staple of his teams. And you look at his teams the last few years, not only that, but his safeties have been, they have found ways to develop guys in the safety who have gone on to become primetime pros. I mean, he has really done a great job in the running game. Man, they come down hard and fast. You got to be ready to swing some chairs in the bar fight when you play Illinois. And let's be honest, when you're playing Illinois, it's kind of like playing at Purdue or Northwestern. Even the big games aren't loud. So you got to jack yourself up to play in a game at Champaign because, Champaign's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. September 28th is the game that's really sticking out to me right now. September 28th, Illinois versus Penn State in Happy Valley. That is going to be one to certainly tune in for, and we're going to find out a lot about what those two teams have on the 28th. So looking forward to that, and can't wait, boys. We got college football coming up real soon. Obviously, Shaun, you got a bunch of stuff going on with the Buckeye Lounge over there. Tell everybody how they can catch your show and when you guys go on and how to find you.
We are on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. We're also on X. You can find me at Shaun Schrock 45 on X. We've had, for like the last couple of weeks, we've had former Buckeyes on. Last week we had Ben Hartsock and Tim Anderson on. This week we're going to have Donnie Nicky and Maurice Hall. The week after that we're going to have Dorian Grant on. So we've got a lot of former Buckeyes coming on. We're having a blast. Just having a good time talking football. And I mean, before we know it, the Texas game's going to be here. And I mean, it's almost like almost Christmas Eve, guys. You know what I mean? It's just like, man, I can't wait for it, man.
No, I'm with you. And to be honest, at first I was kind of like, damn, I wish we didn't play Texas the first game. But to be honest, I think it's a good thing. Find out where you're at, see where the deficiencies are. If you lose, if you win, same thing. See what you did well. See where the deficiencies are. The biggest thing to me is obviously I want to see what Matt Patricia does with this defense. Does he keep some of the same things in place that Jim Knowles had? Does he come with something new? That to me is going to be very interesting to check out. And obviously we'll talk about that more as we move along. You got your hand raised. Yes, sir.
And more importantly, is Arch Manning really the Heisman Trophy? Everybody wants him to believe. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's.
We'll see how good he is. We'll see how good he is, real quick, boys. If he's the next, coming, we'll find out because he's gonna have to show it up there. I understand we lost a lot of folks off that defense, but we still have talent. The Buckeyes will still bring it, and he's got to be good. So we'll see how freaking good Arch is really quick. And,
guys, one thing to watch out for the Ohio State defense, what I hear Patricia's been doing is playing Caleb Downs in that slot position. So they put Malik Hartford and Jalen McClain back at the safeties. And they've been playing more of that three safety look that we saw last year, and Downs has been playing the slot right now. So I mean that's getting him closer to the line of scrimmage, man, where he can cause more havoc. I mean that could be very interesting. It could be fun to watch.
I was afraid you were going to say that. I thought that you said they were going to line him up at the Jack Sawyer position there during the season. I'm like, holy crap!
No, I don't know. I don't know about that. Not sure about that, but I do think you need to use him. He's the best defensive player in all of college football. I like what they've got at linebacker with Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese. Those guys are obviously both proven commodities. Jermaine Matthews and Davidson Igbusu, whatever his name is, have had a bunch of football that they've played. The only issue to me is the defensive line. The depth there. I like Kenyatta Jackson. I like McDonald. I like Houston. I like Atkinson. I like all those guys. But if any of them go down, it makes me nervous. I think they've got a little bit more depth at edge with Grady, with Hicks, with Curry. But in the middle there, it concerns me. So we'll see what happens. Texas is going to be a good barometer to see what we've got going on. Shaun, we appreciate you so much joining us. We hope you can come back sometime throughout the season and talk a little Buckeyes with us if you don't mind. I
appreciate you guys having me on, man. It was a blast. I love your guys' show, man. Anytime you guys need me, I'm here for you guys, man. Thanks.
All right, brother. We will talk to you again real soon. And thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, bud?
Thanks, brother.
All right. Oh, cut him off. Sorry about that. But yeah, great show today, James. Good looking out up there. Enjoyed the Big Ten talk. Obviously, we will be back next week to talk a little SEC preview. I know there'll be some people interested in that. And if anybody missed any part of the show that they need to get to, go to YouTube, type in Man Coverage 2075, visit SeatGeek.com and type in promo code NSS, and we will talk to you again real soon. James, have a good one, bud.
You bet.